Okay, so here I have like a couple of articles that were from the newspaper. When I was first diagnosed as a 12-year-old, it was kind of a shock to the community. So like my school did a bunch of fundraising activities. And so they did an article on me. I was in the news, and then I had a lot of support from family and friends. They sent me like posters, get well cards, get well signs and everything. And that was February of 2002. And then, so right after I was diagnosed, I had to go straight into chemo, and so they told me I would be losing my hair. So here I have a picture. I have a picture of me cutting my hair so that it wouldn't be as bad coming out. So I chopped off like half of my hair length, then I ended up with this short haircut. And you can kind of see around that Christmas time, the progression of like my hair falling out. So these pictures are like in the middle of my whole treatment, maybe halfway through, when I first had my surgery to remove the cancerous tumor. So I'm well into the treatment. I kind of started to gain some weight. And so these are just me in the hospital. I was on crutches for about half a year. I couldn't walk on my leg at all, so I was in a wheelchair for a good amount of time. And so this was a really happy day. It's a really important one. It was the day of my last chemotherapy treatment at Kapiolani Hospital. And so they're really great there. They brought me balloons, a poster. They had my favorite cake, and goodie bags, presents, and everything. So all my favorite nurses, my friends I made in the hospital, we were all there, and we kind of had like a big party. And that was August 11th, I remember.
Alyson, she's my daughter, and you have a tendency to say she's perfect, but what comes to mind is she's very positive, upbeat, and she's like a leader.
She's a resilient person, very resilient person, a go-getter, a goal-oriented person, happy person. Yeah, that's Alyson.
About half a year later, I had a surgery to remove the cancerous part of my bone, and they replaced it with a cadaver bone.
And you can see the scar today. And instead of something that she's ashamed of, she goes and wears shorts and goes in bikinis like anybody else. And if people make a comment, well, we got into a tangle with a shark one day, and it was one of those things, it happens, and that was it, and people laugh and they go out and life goes on.
I really like going to the beach. That's probably my favorite thing to do, and go shopping. I love shopping. Yeah, just hang out with my family, friends, and my boyfriend.
The trip, it initially started with her like mentioning we should go on a trip, and I said, okay, well, we can't go out to another country. So she said like she would love to go to Texas, and I thought it was super random, but I said, okay, let's go, because I have family there. I want to visit my family. And then I said, you know what, if we're gonna go on a trip, let's make a vacation out of it. Let's go for a while. And so we went to California. We went there for like a week, and we went to Disneyland, and we did all of that stuff, and so it was a lot of fun.
It was at the end of the school year. I just noticed that I was getting full faster, and I thought I was dieting and trying to lose weight anyway, so I thought, oh good, I'm just shrinking my stomach.
She loves to eat. Sometimes she can eat more than me. And we started to notice more and more that she could barely even finish her meal. And she would get super full really fast, and she even like threw up a couple times on the trip. And so that's what we noticed, and we thought it was weird because it was never a problem before.
I went to a specialist, and the specialist said, oh, you probably have an ulcer at the exit of your stomach. So we had to have this emergency surgery. and the plan was to take out a third of my stomach.
I know when she came out of it, she thought, well, the surgery's done, the problem's solved, but the problem just was beginning.
You know, I was just in the waiting room where I guess people would just wait for doctors to come out and talk to you, and you know, that's when the doctor came out and he told me worst case scenario, and I was like, what is that? You know, and he said, well, we went in to remove that part, but we found cancer filling the entire lining of the stomach. And I was like, are you kidding me? You know, like, what does that even mean, or what's gonna happen now? And so they had to remove her entire stomach.
Waking up, I was actually in a really good mood, joking around, everything. I was like asking for food, things like that, because I was hungry. And then Austin was kind of like, well, you're in a really good mood. And he asked if the doctors had talked to me. And I said, oh no, I haven't talked to the doctor. When he told me that I had cancer, I'm like, you're kidding. Like, I thought it was a joke. I was like, so they took out my whole stomach, and I thought, well, did they put something there instead of it? And he said, no, because I don't really need it. So I think the mood changed really quickly after that.
The way she looked at me, it felt like she was looking at me like, are you kidding? You know, and I wish I was kidding. I wish I could tell her, you know what, I'm joking.
My heart just dropped. I mean, knowing that she had cancer when we were younger and knowing that she has to do that all over again, it's heartbreaking. One person shouldn't have to do that so many times.
And I think with Miss Rod, she's always concerned about everybody else's feelings, and so she puts on a really brave and happy front.
So tomorrow is going to be my first treatment of chemotherapy. It's going to be about 5 to 7 hours, but it's outpatient, so I don't have to stay in the hospital overnight or anything like that. I just kind of go in, do my treatment, and then I'm out. I've been having really mixed feelings. There's some days where I just want to start it and then get it over with, just because I want to like just do this, get it over with, get better, so I can go back to my life. But then there's other days that I'm really nervous, especially with the side effects and things like that. I don't want it to change too much of like how I feel. I've always had a lot of support from my family and friends, but like telling the students about what's going on, it spread like wildfire. Everyone knows, and so everyone's been coming in yesterday and today with like cards and gifts and like posters and things like that. It was kind of emotional, like thinking that, wow, all these people are, you know, wishing the best for me, thinking of me.
So for a new teacher, Miss Rod is really impressive to me because she had a lot of the things that like veteran teachers have.
She loves teaching, and I can see it. She just enjoys just making these lesson plans and figuring out how to stimulate students. And because they enjoy her class, she enjoys them, and it's like reciprocal, and it's just fulfilling for her.
I really liked it because she did a lot of fun activities, like hands-on activities. Like she always kept you going. It was really fun and it was never boring.
Well, right now I'm not working, and I think that's the biggest change because I have a lot more time. I miss being at school and being busy and seeing all my coworkers and my students.
I think some of the students that she was closer with took it a little harder because I think a lot of students haven't dealt with this kind of situation before, so they don't know how to react.
Oh, group hug. Oh. You guys will like the other teacher. She's really nice and she's young. But don't like her too much because I'm going to be back.
It's kind of sad because she's such a nice person and so fun and loving, and to see her go through something like this, it's kind of hard.
When I heard that she was sick, I didn't know what to feel because I feel so bad for her because she's such a happy spirit, and to know that something like this is happening to her again, it just breaks your heart.
Right now I'm on my seventh round of chemotherapy, so I'm actually on the second half, so I'm halfway there.
It's just, like our group is just quieter, I think. because Miss Rod is really funny and she brings out all kinds of, she always had funny stories.
I mean, I know she puts up like a wall, and I know there's probably stuff that goes on behind closed doors where she has to deal with all the medication and whatnot, but whenever I see her, she's always in a good mood, always bubbly, just basically the same person.
I mean, without a stomach, you have to eat really slowly, and you have to chew a lot. And so it'll, like a regular sized meal, I probably won't finish it, but if I were to eat half of it, that would maybe take me like an hour. Like I feel really drained. And it's kind of like a weird, tired feeling. It's not sleepy, but more just like my body feels tired, like from the core, like just really drained. The smallest thing from like walking up to another room will make me really tired, and I just have to sit down and like breathe.
She's just tired. She's tired emotionally, mentally. You know, she has her good days and stuff, but you can just tell that a part of her is not there anymore because she's not healthy or she's not who she used to be, you know, and it sucks seeing her like that because I wish I could change it. I wish I could do something for her. She tries to do a lot of things to keep her mind off of it. And one of the things that she loves to do is shop, and she tries to, because she's losing weight, she buys new clothes, but then she brings it home and she puts it on and she sees herself in the mirror and she hates it. You know, she's not happy with it, and then, you know, a week later, that same clothes that she just bought doesn't fit her anymore. And so it's really hard for her to look at herself and be happy.
It gets me frustrated because a lot of times I'll try to live as normally as possible, go out with my friends and do things that everyone else is doing. But when I'm out there and I'm tired, it kind of just is sort of like reality sits in, like, okay, you don't have as much energy as you normally do, like you need to take a break. And feeling tired when I'm out with my friends is kind of a bummer because it's sort of a reminder, like you need to, you know, you're on chemo, you have to relax.
You know, sometimes she feels really down, and the only thing I can tell her is to keep fighting because there's no other choice. You either fight or you don't, you lose. And so because of that, and she knows it, because of that, I continue to tell her that every day, and I'm going to continue to fight just as hard with her, if not more, you know.
I think, you know, a lot of the girls, when they found out about it, they wanted to do something special for her. And of course, a lot of the girls were also, is being coached by Coach Austin, who's the special someone of Miss Rod there. So we decided, you know what, let's make it a fundraising event and let's have it so that it helps her in the needs, that whatever needs she may need, yeah.
The work was kind of crazy, you know, making shirts, getting ready for the event, sending out emails, you know, getting pre-orders for people who want to buy the shirts, and then getting my players ready. Whenever people show up, like friends, close co-workers, it makes me really happy because I know that she's happy. And that's all that, there's all of this big event, you know, all the banners, the shirts, all of that, it's all for her. So as long as she's happy, that's all that can really matter to me. She said she's thankful just because, again, she's going through a whole new perspective on life, and she's not taking advantage of anything. And so she's thankful that she has great friends, great family, and that's there for her, and she has a great support system. And she's just thankful because it's making her appreciate a lot more things in life that she never did.
I think with all this happening, it's really put into perspective, like the time factor. And it kind of makes you think, like, you know, we want to do all these things. We have these plans for ourselves in life, but we'll do those in the future. And then with this happening, it's kind of just been like, what am I waiting for? You know, I keep pushing things off. I'll say like, oh, I'll travel a little bit first and then do this. Or I'll get a job first and then do these things. But it kind of makes you realize like what's most important. And so I think like after all of this, I'd probably work more for those personal goals more so than like career-wise and everything. The one thing that keeps me strong, I think, is I think about the things that I want to do in life, you know, and how I want to get a chance to do all of these things. I think about my parents, and like, especially to do with having cancer as a child and looking back at all the things that my parents did for me, I think like, well, I have to get through this because they did so much just to help me, to keep me alive. And like, send me through college and everything. And I think of all my friends and then my boyfriend too, and like, you know, we have plans for the future. My friends have done so much for me, and I think like I can't give up because I have to do these things, you know, for them to, because they do so much for me. So
she's definitely my inspiration. She's my role model. She's, you know, my hero, because everything that she's going through, I can never imagine myself going through.
So Alyson is always an upbeat person, always mentally and spiritually strong person.
People ask, she tells them, you know, she's a survivor. And because of that attitude, she will survive again.
To know, like, why did you agree to do this documentary? Why did you kind of want to do it?
It could happen to anybody, and there's a lot of controversies out there about the different types of cancer and things like that and treatment, but I kind of agreed to do the video because of the awareness factor and seeing that, you know, it could happen to anybody, and it affects different people in different ways. And I think that hearing different people's stories, I think is really powerful because it's so different with everyone. And so I kind of agreed to do it just because I like the idea of like awareness being out there and people hearing my story. And I've heard a lot of people tell me, like, they'll say like, oh, you're so brave, or you're so inspirational, and like, you're so strong, and you help me, like hearing what you go through like helps me in different ways. And so if that's true, I just kind of felt like if more people could hear about the things that people go through, then it could inspire more people too.